Any international tournament is made immeasurably better when Scotland is involved, largely because of the Tartan Army, the huge number of traveling fans who know how to have a good time. The famous saying goes, no Scotland, no party, but a spectacular victory over Denmark on the final day of qualifying ensured that North America will have plenty of party and plenty of Scottish spirit. Welcome to Kickback Soccer Media's World Cup Capsules, where you'll learn everything you need to know about all 48 of the national teams competing at the 2026 World Cup. From the history of the game, the nation's current World Cup trajectory, unsung heroes, and cultural moments. I'm David Goss, and today we are talking about Scotland. Scotland has some stars and well-known players, including captain and Liverpool left-back Andy Robertson, former Arsenal star Kieran Tierney, Aston Villa's John McGinn, and Napoli's Scott McTominay. But on the whole, Scotland seems like more of an idea or a feeling than a collection of players. Because of the deep history, some insane on-field moments, a passionate fan base off of it, and one of the more magical qualifying stories of this cycle. Scotland's contributions to the beautiful game are literally immeasurable. They are credited with inventing modern football. Scottish take credit for inventing the idea of passing or moving the ball to try to score. The English version was just to kick and run. They exported this game to the rest of the world, where it took over, especially in South America. Charles William Miller brought the game to Sao Paulo, and he founded a little club called Corinthians. The world's oldest football, a leather-bound ball dating back to the 1500s, was found in Scotland. The first proper stadium was built there. The first international black player, Andrew Watson, played for Scotland. Famous stadium architect Archibald Leach was from Glasgow. Scotland has produced so much for the game, including some of the most legendary managers: Jock Stein, Bill Shankly, Bob Paisley, and yes, Sir Alex Ferguson. Scotland's history in the international game goes back to literally Game 1. The first ever international match was played in Scotland in 1872 and was a scoreless draw between England and Scotland. From 1872 to 1929, Scotland only played matches against England, Ireland, and Wales. Scotland played their first match outside of the British Isles in 1929, beating Norway 7-3 in Bergen. Due to conflict between FIFA and the home nations, Scotland withdrew from FIFA, so they did not compete in the early World Cup tournaments. Their first World Cup appearance came post-World War II in 1954, where they made a group stage exit. And they made relatively consistent appearances for the rest of the 20th century until 1998, where a 20-year stretch of glorious failure ensued. 10 straight failed qualification campaigns, from the 2000 Euro qualifying through the 2018 World Cup qualifying. We could probably produce on its own like a 40-part podcast on Scottish heartbreak during this time. Let me give you a little taste. In 2002, they lost to the Faroe Islands in qualifying. In 2006, they didn't win a game until halfway through qualifying, but lost 1-0 to Belarus at home in a rainstorm to officially knock them out. If that's not sad enough, in 2008, they lost to Georgia. They had a chance at redemption versus Italy, but a dodgy call awarded Italy a free kick that they scored and went on to win the game. In 2010, some players were benched after running up a tab in a team hotel the night before a game. The home game was versus Norway, and Chris Ulemo had a worst miss of all time. In 2016, they lost once again to Georgia, so they're probably secretly hoping that they're not going to be playing in Atlanta. I kid. In their group for qualifying, it came down to the last game. Scotland needed two things. They needed to beat Poland, and they needed Germany to beat Ireland. In the end, neither of them happened. Ireland beat Germany, and Scotland conceded a last-minute equalizer to the Poles. They finally qualified for 2 consecutive Euros in 2020 and 2024, but they were knocked out in the group stage. That includes a 5-1 opening game loss against the host Germany in front of the world. But we said, with Scotland comes party. When Antonio Rudiger put in an 87th minute own goal, even With the score 4-1 against them, the Scots showed how much fun they are. In a way, it feels like all that heartbreak and failure led to this World Cup qualifying campaign on purpose. This team finished top of Group C in UEFA qualifying. They topped the group with 13 points on 4 wins, a draw, and a loss. They clinched final qualification on the last match day in an unreal 4-2 win over Denmark at Hampden Park in Glasgow. Scotland went up 1-0 early off an incredible Scott McTominay bicycle kick, but Denmark equalized before having a player sent off. Up a man, Scotland took the lead again in the 78th minute, but Denmark clapped back almost immediately. Scotland then sealed it with 2 goals in stoppage time, including a Kenny McLean lob from midfield. It sent announcers and fans inside the stadium and fans all over Scotland into rapturous celebrations. It was one of the great moments in world soccer history. From McTominay's goal, which some are calling the greatest Scottish goal ever scored, to the late-game heroics, the game is already being called the greatest moment in Scottish football history. The manager, Steve Clarke, is known for putting trust in these players. He doesn't shake up the lineup a lot, and his squads are all very similar. He took charge of Scotland in 2019 and has led them to these back-to-back Euro qualifications and now the World Cup. Some say he is loyal to a fault to his players, which can come back to bite him. But he's now the longest-serving manager in terms of number of games managed for Scotland. He's the first Scotland manager in history to qualify for 3 major competitions. He can be called conservative, but he has gotten positive results. Sometimes the fans feel left wanting. They feel like the squad is more talented than the performances. But you cannot complain with someone who has done things no other manager has done in this country's long football history. And they do seem a little inconsistent. They struggle against Belarus despite getting the win, but they're capable of those big moments like we saw against Denmark as well. Going forward, they are looking at the young phenom Ben Doak. 20-year-old winger, he joined Bournemouth this summer after a year at Middlesbrough and a few quiet seasons with Liverpool. The youngest Scottish player to appear in the Premier League at just 17 years old, he had the assist on McTominay's bicycle kick versus Denmark. He currently plays more for Scotland than Bournemouth, often coming off the bench for the Cherries. Another shout-out for a young phenom is 19-year-old Lennon Miller. He started his career at Motherwell, but moved to Udinese this summer and has won Scotland Young Player of the Year for 2024 and 25. When you talk about Scotland legends and the greatest players, there's only one name that comes up: Kenny Dalglish. Liverpool, Celtic, and Scotland legend King Kenny is known for it all. His technical skill, creativity, amazing goal scoring, and playmaking. He won 4 Scottish League championships, 4 Scottish Cups with Celtic, made 204 appearances, and scored 111 goals. He then went on to win 6 English League championships, 4 League Cups, an FA Cup, and 3 European Cups, with 355 appearances and 118 goals for the Giants Liverpool. He played in 3 World Cups for Scotland. He's the all-time caps leader with the 102, and he's tied for all-time goal-scoring leader with 30. He scored against England at Hampden Park and at Wembley in 1976 and 77, both in 2-1 victories. And he scored in Scotland's famous 3-2 win over the Netherlands back at the 1978 World Cup. Football is the backbone of society in most of the country, with religion, community, politics, class, all wrapping up into the game in a way that few countries have. It's most clearly shown through the iconic Old Firm Derby. We could spend a whole nother 40 podcasts talking about the history of the Derby, which is truly an example of everything the game means to the country. The club and fan bases are split by social, religious, and political elements as much of Scotland is. But here's the brief summary. It is a 130-year-old, super intense derby between Celtic and Rangers, 2 teams based in Glasgow. The roots go back to conflicts around religion. Celtic is typically the club of Catholic fans, Rangers typically Protestant fans, and then national identity inside of that. Irish, Scottish fans tend to support Celtic, and British fans who are loyal to the Crown tend to support Rangers. The intensity has led to violence and divisiveness. The game is required to be played at noon local time now because of the violence and history that this fixture has. There are other global derbies that are sold as being fierce or representing more than just the game. But this one is authentic and shows just how deep the sport goes within Scotland's identity. Scotland's one of the few national teams without a nickname, but their fans, on the other hand, are famously known as the Tartan Army. They are named after the symbolic national dress of Scotland. Every single clan has their own tartan. It's the pattern that they wear on their kilts and on their flags. The Tartan Army travels to Scotland games both home and abroad and are known for their enthusiastic partying ways and charitable work. They started the trend in the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s, and now cities brace for the Tartan Army to invade and create the fun party atmosphere that they are so well known for. For Scottish fans, it feels like a head and heart thing. They've never made it past the group stage, so that's the goal. But the heart is just happy to be at the World Cup stage. If this team is going to do something special in 2026, it is going to be on the back of Scott McTominay. He was a divisive figure as he oscillated in and out of the starting lineup at Manchester United over his 7 years with the Giants. But in his first year in Italy, the glow-up is real. He was voted best player in Serie A behind his 13 goals out of midfield that powered Napoli to a league title. He finished top 20 in the Ballon d'Or voting off the back of that, and he ended his dream run of 2025 with that World Cup qualifying bike kick. He could be the special star that helps Scotland finally break through. He could be the unicorn, because the official national animal of Scotland is the unicorn, a symbol of purity and power in Celtic mythology. That is your fun fact. Don't forget, we have one of these bio podcasts for every single country that's qualified for the 2026 World Cup. So you can follow all our coverage on social media, anywhere you see Kickback, and of course, anywhere you get your podcasts.